Hello and welcome to Photography Out Loud. My name is Paul Davis, and as always, I'm joined with my colleague Joel Longbone. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, I'm good. How's your week been?
Strange, isn't it, that the shop's been open?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's not
good.
crazy. It's more normal than crazy, isn't it? Back to normal. Nearly
But yeah,
back to
it's
normal.
it's nice to see customers coming in as well. And I don't think we've ever taken so many phone calls for passport photographs, have we?
I know, mate. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we had a little conversation before we opened, didn't we? And you were saying we need to get like the passport area sorted. That's got to be a priority. And be like, surely there won't be a lot of people going on holiday or like getting their passports done. But we have been inundated with passports. So
we have.
Yeah, which is good.
It's been a good problem.
I suppose people still need their passports renewing, whether they're going on holiday or not, don't they? So
yeah, and driver's licenses and bus passes.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
and whatever else.
Yeah, and we set up our new little area for our passports, so it's just a little bit quicker and easier than last time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So no, it's been good to be open. Hopefully, people haven't had to wait too long. We have had queues. We tried to get through them as quickly as we could. But yeah, it's just been really nice to see people in real life and be able to, have a bit of a conversation and it not be through a screen like this. I think that's been the best part.
And going back to that sort of, hi, how can I help? Yeah, it's just been brilliant. So, because like for a couple of reasons, because I think both myself and yourself, John, even if that's the way to say it.
You and me, me and you.
You and me, thank you. We like to sell, don't we, for all the right reasons? Because it's a nice feeling, isn't it, when you've helped somebody out. So, but once again, ultimately, part of that is like, someone coming in off the street and going, and you going, hi, how can I help? And then solving that problem. We haven't had it for so long.
No.
It's just such a nice feeling again, isn't it? To go back to that sort of like, right, how can I help out this person?
Yeah, and you can see the happiness in their eyes, not in their like the rest of their face, but you can kind of see some happiness in their eyes as they kind of go, yay, rather than seeing a smiling face. But it's just been really good.
And starting to recognize people with masks on now as well, which I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing. So like observation sort of goes up, but
you just hope you don't get the wrong person.
I know, yeah.
That'd be awkward.
Certainly would.
But I've also realised how difficult it is to hear some people through a mask. And through a screen, it's been quite difficult to understand what people have been saying sometimes. But there we go. These are the situations that we deal with at the moment. But hopefully we're on the right track to not have to keep wearing masks and stuff in the future. So fingers crossed and all that.
It's all looking promising.
Yeah, definitely. So
as he coughs.
Yeah, probably not the best thing to do. Don't worry, I don't have it. At least as far as I know.
We'll have to get a rolling disclaimer on the bottom, won't we?
Oh, I know. Dear. So how has your week been, apart from the opening of the shop?
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. So I think I'm still buzzing a little bit from like being able to go out a little bit more. So I think I talked about it last week as well, but actually getting out out of the sort of home and work sort of environment and just going out and really been really enjoying the Mini 2, the DJI sort of we've been playing about recently as well. So that's been very entertaining. But I just think like I know I sort of mentioned it sort of last week, is just getting out there with the camera has really helped just sort of put a smile back on my face, basically. And I think it does help. And
for 12 months, mate.
Well, yeah. So don't worry, me being happy won't last long. Then that's all it is. It's just it's not a permanent.
It's transient.
Yeah, it's just something that a couple of good weekends have given me. I'll be back to normal Monday, before you know it. Don't worry.
Next Monday.
Yeah, all downhill from there.
I hope not. But anyway, right, let's get to the comments. These will make us happy.
Indeed.
David says, "Good afternoon. Fact checker is here. Excellent. Glad you're here.
Thank you very
David."
much.
I spoke to somebody who was saying how much they've enjoyed your sensor talk video with us a few weeks back, but how their mind had gone. So
yeah,
that was good.
And,
I think that
we may need some fact checker on this episode possibly as well.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
we are talking about some announcements.
Yeah, true. Chris Ward says, "Afternoon, chaps." Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Tina says, "Hi, guys. Hope all is going well." Hi to you too, Tina.
Indeed,
Yeah, it is going well. I feel like I'll sleep well after this week, but it's a good sleeping well. So there we go. Andrew says, "Afternoon, guys." Afternoon, Andrew. You're allowed over the border now, aren't you? So hopefully we can see you in the not too distant future. Terry says, "Don't forget your camera if you go on holiday." Yeah, that's true. You get your passport done and then you forget your camera. Not ideal. Rob says, "I've had 2 shoots with the same model in the past week. The Sigma 56 1.4 is awesome." Good. I'm glad.
Brilliant.
I didn't expect to know any less when you said it, but yeah, the Sigma is just very good. Ian says, "Hi, Paul and Joel. Good to see you both in person." It was really good. Although it was more difficult to see you at first. I think that's because I hadn't had as much practice on Monday when I saw you. So, but yeah, it was really good to see you, Ian. Paul, now destroy my passport photo. It looks like a wanted poster. Oh dear. And then Terry says, "Hey lads, I'll be popping in soon to trade my 2 cameras in for a mirrorless." Ooh, exciting times. If you don't want to have to queue, drop us an email or a phone call or Facebook Messenger and book in, and then we can make sure you don't have to wait outside for too long, because that has been a bit of an issue.
It's advisable, not essential, I think is what we've been saying. So obviously you can come in at any time. We're always available
between 10 and 4.
Yeah, but we are restricted with the numbers that we can have in the shop. That's all that's holding us back at the moment. So sometimes there is a queue. Always seems to be there's always a queue when Craig comes in as well. I don't know whether they're in relation, but it's so there may be a queue. Obviously, if we know that you're coming, then we can just make sure that there's space available. So if you're on a timely journey and seeing us with something else, then maybe just giving us a quick call, just booking in for an appointment, and super easy to do.
Excellent. Right, shall we get to it?
Yeah. So
the excitement I mentioned that we've before. Had this week.
It's been great, hasn't it? So we had the shop open, and then we've had like lots of things being announced as well, which is great for 2 reasons. Because we like new things being announced, and the second reason, it gives us content to go live once a week, doesn't it? It's like, what are we doing this week, Joel? It's just like,
although we've got some ideas. Yeah. Although we've got some ideas lined up, haven't we, for the next few weeks, all being well.
Oh yeah. The juices are flowing as far as ideas are concerned,
and we're working on our show as well.
Watch this space, everyone.
2 potential ideas, which is exciting. So.
Yeah, even more. So I only know about one of them, so anyone that's watching, I'm still as curious.
I told you about the other one briefly earlier.
We digress, Joel. We digress. Let's get to what we're here for.
Yeah, put the slides.
Some announcements. So I've been talking about how I've been loving DJI Mini 2 Life, and then this little beast comes along. So the Air 2S, which is an upgrade from the Air 2 in one sense, but the Air 2 will sort of stay within the range as well. And one of the main features that we've seen on it is the improvement of the sensor. So it's gone up to the 1-inch sensor, which is going to give us better low light control. So for stills video, it's going to push that background out a little bit. Anyone that's familiar with 1-inch sensor on compact cameras, it's going to give you that sort of similar thing, but in drone form as well. They've upgraded it to the the video. So it'll now shoot at 5.4K video. It will do 4K at 60.
Extra 0.4 makes a difference.
Well, it just gives a bit of cropping, doesn't it, more than anything? So they've improved the transmission rate on it as well, which does help.
12 kilometers is a long way. I'm not sure I would want massive, to fly a drone that far without seeing it.
But I mean, the big thing for me, and I think it's just while I itch my ear, and I think it's definitely not missed because DJI are definitely selling this point, is the new improvement on the quick shots. So I've been loving the quick shot life in the Mini, and it's great. But Master Shots is their sort of new version of it as well, which takes all your sort of quick shots. So they've added to the quick shots, which is things like you can go round a subject. There's loads of things. There's a great video on the, actually we can play it. Hold on.
Ooh.
While we talk about it.
Ooh.
There we go. There's a great little video, and you can see this at any point just on the DJI website as well. But the Master Shots enable you to sort of combine all these quick shots together and sort of map out where you actually want to be. And obviously with the sensors on all 4 directions, which we've seen in the Air series before, along with these Master Shots, enables you to get some really sort of epic footage where you can like fly it through trees, in between rocks, and it's just incredibly sort of easy to use. So I can't wait to get my hands on one. So it's going to be great.
Yep, I feel like when that comes in, there'll be a bit of a fight for who gets to play with it first.
I know, yeah. So, and whether it should be added to the photography out loud arsenal of gear that we're allowed to have. So
that's true. It looks like it's going to be very good. Like the 1-inch sensor is the thing that I think excites me most, because the low light capability is going to be really helpful, and also the quality for your still images and stuff. So.
Yeah. But it's worth, if anyone hasn't had a look at.
Is the obstacle avoidance going to be useful for you, Paul?
Oh, all right. Okay. So I might have crashed the drone again this week. So yes, the obstacle avoidance. Yeah. This is the thing, and it's one of the main features. What they offer on the upgrade is things like the obstacle avoidance. So the Mini gives you a real good taste of what you can get from DJI. Because it's the same app that uses it. It's just the app expands when you come up onto the Air 2S, and it's so incredibly easy to like tag subjects. So you've mentioned this, I think, before on the episodes, Joel, is that anything that you want to track or follow, you can essentially just put your hand over it, or you tag whatever that you actually want to look at, don't you?
Yeah, it's like a green box, isn't it? Which is cool.
Oh. Close the wrong thing down.
Now we're the wrong way around, Paul. The internet's going to break.
Oh no! There we go.
Normality has been resumed. Now I think it's going to be really good to see the Air 2S when it comes out, because we've both really enjoyed the Mini too, and I think it's going to help people who want to get into drone photography or move up a bit more, and it not cost a huge amount to have the 1-inch sensor on the drone.
Yeah, because it's really affordable as well. Like the basic kit is like $899. So it is expensive. Okay, so it's still it is nearly £1,000. But if you think about what you're getting, 1-inch sensor, that does 4K at 60 frames per second at the quality that you can get from it.
How much would a 1-inch sensor camera cost you as well?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because those are about £700-800.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
For an extra couple of £100, you can have that same quality but flying around, following you. So no, it's a good move from DJI, I think. Good move from DJI.
Right. So what's next?
So the other thing that's also been, it was a bit backwards this week. I'm doing the news, really, aren't I? Well, the whole episode's of news, isn't it? Really,
It's true.
it is. Next up, that Fujifilm has released is the XF 18mm 1.4 art LMWR lens. So once again, another lens to add into the plethora of prime lenses that Fujifilm have to expand on the X series. And yeah, once again, like all of the other 1.4 sort of series lenses that they've done, absolutely stunning image quality.
Yeah.
So really, really well designed.
1.4 is I love that lens. I know it's an older lens, but it's one of my favorite lenses ever. I'm intrigued to see how this performs, because you expect it to be very good because it's made by Fuji. The 1.4 hopefully should be as good as the other 1.4s, if not better. And also having the weather resistance is just going to make it super useful, especially most people have been mentioning obviously like landscapes, but mostly nightscape photography, because it's going to be so quick and it's pretty wide. And it's, unless you're going to buy a third party, it's probably like the widest, fastest lens you can buy, isn't it? Apart from the 16mm, but the I think it'll be interesting because it seems like it's going to be more compact than the 16mm. So
it's your last point of call at the 1.4 sort of type of lenses, isn't it? Before you start to get either ridiculously big or ridiculously expensive. So
or both.
Yeah, or both. That does happen from time to time.
I'm quite excited for when this gets into our hands and we take it out on an XT4 for some astro or nightscape photography.
It's a lens that obviously it'd be great to use, but it also comes with the high expectations as well, which I'm sure that Fujifilm are going to deliver on. But it sort of falls into that lens that you've already had before, but in a different focal length, isn't it?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it will be good. I think it'd be pretty good for video as well.
Yeah. Oh,
fast wide. That's pretty lightweight.
Great video lens
for gimbal usage and stuff like that. So
yeah. Probably the biggest news that we've seen come out this week as well, apart from sort of mainly the UK opening in the photographic era at least, is the new announcement of the development announcement, I should say, of the new Canon R Series. So Canon have sort of got into this sort of feel of actually throwing out development announcements now, which I think is really great because it gives us an opportunity to see what's actually coming. Also, to prep ourselves for to see what is actually there. But it gives us time to think about well, this is the way that Canon are actually going. Gives us time to prep if we did want to sort of move up onto models, things like the R3. One of the major things that sort of people are talking about is this new sensor. So it's backlight illuminated CMOS sensor, but the main thing about it is that it's stacked. Okay. And from what we learned, yes, indeed, from what we learned from David Yeoman the other day, is that there's various different versions of sensors, and you can actually go back and watch that episode and learn a little bit about what all these different sort of sensors mean. But just in a short description, essentially what you're getting from a stacked sensor is that your readout is going to be quicker, which enables you to have these higher frames per second and also less of the bendy things happening on fast things.
Rolling shutter.
That's the one.
Bendy things. Yeah.
I tried so hard then. So yeah, if we can have an official analogy.
You did pretty good.
I thought it was doing very well then, and then bendy things came in, and then it all went wrong. So
David Yeoman will be making a comment about bendy things in a minute, for sure.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Ooh, stacked.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, it's not quite the what David's referred to as almost the Holy Grail before, which is the global. I think that's what we're all waiting for. I think that's when
I think we'll be waiting a while
things
at this
really
rate.
change. Yeah, I know. But for now, like stacked is very close to that sort of global shutter that we want. So, and because of that stack sensor, we are allowed to have that 30 frames per second with full tracking available on the exposure and the focusing as well. So,
which is impressive because it puts it up against the A1, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, it does. So things that we don't know about the sensor yet is how many pixels there are. So we're not quite sure on what they're going to do with that.
Let's hope it's not
guessing...
5, No wonder it can do 30 frames a second with full AF/AE tracking. Because it's quite similar, but a little bit smaller than a 1DX Mark III, isn't it? Like when you see the comparisons, it's a bit shorter, but it has a similar vibe.
It's a bit shorter. It's just a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter. We're still not sure on what battery is going in it yet. So there may be 2 LP6s or possibly one of the batteries that we find in the 1DX. So we're still not too sure on that. One interesting thing,
it's going to be hefty with 30 FPS, though, isn't it? Otherwise, the battery's going to
I think so.
Complete very quickly.
And I think I'm not too sure what they're going to do with the battery. Whether they'll just put 2 batteries in, because they might be thinking of, people might have an R5 or an R6 and they want to use the same batteries.
Keep it lightweight,
or they could. Or it's the same thing. Like, well, what if 1DX users are wanting a mirrorless version? So it'd be handy if they had the. So they could go either way with it, to be honest. So, which is, we'll just have to see what they do, really, more than anything. So
it'll be interesting to see how fast the autofocus is on it as well.
I think it's going to be similar to the R5, R6. It's just got that faster.
But is there going to be? Is there going to be anything else that they've added, or is it just going to be? And also, the eye control AF system. Now, David's already mentioned it, but years and years ago, they did it in a film camera, didn't they? Now,
which was the EOS 3, Joel. It was the 3. So there's a bit of like
which is cool.
Tip to it.
But how useful is it? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm photographing, I'm not always looking at the subject directly for focus. Do you know what I mean? I'm checking my frame to make sure there's nothing else in there that I don't want. I'm trusting the camera to keep locked on to my subject that I've chosen and make sure that my frame has not got other things coming into it. So if I'm looking around, my focus is going to be all over the show.
But I'm sure they've thought of that.
Well, you just turn it off, wouldn't you? But I'm just intrigued to see how quick and accurate it is. I can almost see it working the same way that you'd normally change your focus point, is that you have to push that button around the grip first, and then you move the little dialy woggly thing, and then you just use your eye to move it around.
Yeah, but
it's gonna be like a game, though, isn't it? How quickly can you move the sensor, the focus point around?
So it's got to be you push a button and then you look at what you want and then you can let go and then it locks in place.
Yeah, maybe. I'm intrigued to see how it works, for sure.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because it could be, it's something that Canon, they own, really. It's like their technology. So I don't think anyone else can put it into cameras, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So it'll be interesting to see, that they developed it, way back when. They've obviously brought it into the 21st century. They're building it from the ground up again. It'll be really cool to see what they actually do with it.
There's somebody at Canon going, "Oh, we're going to call this the R3. Can we? Please, can we? I've been waiting for decades to do it. Please." Like, okay, let's put eye control AF in there just for you.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that person absolutely smashes it and it becomes a thing. Because Yeah,
it could
I
be
get
the
what you say
ultimate
about-
like Canon flex, couldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm intrigued to see, like, it would need to work flawlessly though, wouldn't it? You know, if you want to move just a little bit across,
Yeah.
like it would really have to work well, wouldn't it? Or it
I
just
suppose
wouldn't be worth doing at all.
Yeah, I wonder if like there's a sensitivity control on it, and also, like you were saying, maybe if it teamed up with face or eye detect, so that you could look at the person in a group or a scene at an event, you could get
Oh,
to
that'd be
focus on the
cool.
people you wanted by how you looked at them. So if there was 3 boxes it had found,
People.
yeah, like for their faces, you could move around those 3 faces. Now that
Yeah,
I think
so
would work really well.
whichever face you look at would be in focus. That's maybe where it might actually just stand. It might just be on the detection stuff. So
Because it would be really good for animals and things, wouldn't it, as well?
yeah, it would. So if there was like
the animal
multiple
detector was good.
animals, yeah, yeah,
And also for if it was shooting through a difficult, like through glass or through fencing or something like that, or you had an obstacle and the camera kept trying to focus on the wrong point, and you could be able to kind of guide it. So no, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they execute it. So
yeah. No, I'm intrigued as well. So obviously another thing that we don't know is the price yet as well. So probably the least well. We like looking forward to seeing what price it is, but obviously if you're buying one, then it might not be something to look forward to, because so they're going to keep the 1X as their flagship sort of model. So they're still keeping that at the very, very top. So I think it's probably gonna fit in between there. So it might be, I don't know, around the 4,000 possibly. I really don't know. Maybe £5,000. Maybe roughly at the same price. Yeah, it's only time will tell, like you say, Joel. So that's not the only
what
thing.
What else did they announce? I'm quite excited about the 100mm.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely it's gonna. It's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've seen a lot from the RF mount already, and it's really delivering. Obviously, being a macro lens, it's got that, you can get down to that sort of macro magnification. So it will go down to the, times 1.4 magnification, which is super close. We're seeing things like, I know the thing you've been excited about, which is the
spherical aberration
control. Yeah.
What a name.
Which in English, what does that mean, Joel?
It's just the way the bokeh behaves, isn't it? And they've got it on the picture. You can see it's got plus and minus and then 0 down the middle, but you've got like 3 different markers. So I'm guessing you'll have some degree of control over how much and which way it goes. And now the images on the Canon website look like it'd be very useful creatively. But obviously, how useful will be something we find out when we actually get to play with one. But I think it's quite interesting that they've built in the ability to control something that people care so much about for a lens, because the 100 has always been great for macros, but also great for portraits, and it's something that a lot of wedding photographers would buy, or event photographers, for when they wanted to go from doing ring shots or whatever, or detail shots, to then being able to take some really nice portraits. So having that level of control over the way the background blurs or doesn't, I think it's very interesting, and it shows that Canon are still working hard on the innovation side of things. So
I think it would be quite useful in the foreground as well. So when like something isn't blurring the way that you want it to in the foreground, just having the option to tweak how it sort of blooms or doesn't bloom. Just sort of maybe balance out the image could be a really good place where it happens. And I think And you mentioned about the Canon website. Yeah, they have got a really good example of how it works because they show fairy lights, don't they, on the website?
Yeah.
So that's a really good way. You can see that turning it one way sort of really blooms out the light, and then turning it the other sort of pulls it back in a little bit. So yeah, it's very interesting. Once again, it's how many times in practice are you going to be in that situation where you can control it? But I mean,
I feel like that'll be more often, won't they?
Yeah.
I think because you can essentially be at different apertures, so you can balance your apertures out perhaps more than you would have been able to in the past. So you're perhaps not as guided on having to choose an aperture for depth of field. You can choose an aperture that works for what you're trying to photograph, and then you can kind of tweak the depth of field fall off, which I think is pretty interesting. I like the fact it's got the lens control ring as well, because we haven't seen that many lenses with that on. So, and I think that's quite a cool option to be able to change settings without having to take your lens holding, lens cradling hand away. So, which when I first saw
ISO or something,
especially for video work and things like that, where having that little bit of extra control can be very useful. Where you want to be able to run and gun, or you've got a lot of fast pace changing circumstances. I think it would be very useful. So
yeah. And also the image stabilizer as well. So it's got 5 stops of optical stabilization built into it, which is absolutely awesome. But then when you combine it with the newer models, things like the R5 and R6, you're going to be getting 8 stops of image stabilizer, which is just
bonkers.
Isn't it just?
We don't need a gimbal. Maybe we need to put a stop on all those gimbals we've started buying.
Yeah, because that is another thing when obviously you're doing macro, there's that magnification that's so strong. And, you might be in a difficult position, you might be leaning down onto something. So, having something that's stabilized on something that is so finite detail is, it's needed, isn't it? And just having it go to 8 stops, just to give you that real tolerance there is, it's quite magical.
Yeah, definitely. What about the other 2 lenses?
They're
not quite as exciting.
No, unless you've got lots of money. Oh, where are my notes gone? Oh, well, we'll just have to talk about these ones, Joel. So also Canon have announced the to go along with, obviously, the R3 coming along, we're now seeing 2 new prime lenses as well. So we're now seeing the 400mm and the 600mm.
I take it they're not to scale unless you're watching this on a 65-inch TV.
Yeah, they're that big in real life. No, they're quite big lenses with quite big price points, I'm assuming, as well. It's not so much that they've built these lenses from the ground up again, as you may look at the lenses and you can see a little silver bit at the bottom. Essentially, that is an EOS to whatever RF converter sort of built in onto it.
They're pretty rare.
Yeah. So, they're all on these lenses, aren't they?
Yeah.
But once again, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. These are expensive lenses, Joel. I don't think we want to be redesigning these from the ground up when so much money has been spent actually developing them in the first place. And I believe both versions are on like the Mark III of, are in the EF range as well. So I think that, they're more in place to support the R system going forward. It's showing the commitment to...
Well, in theory, they've been sorted for the Olympics, haven't they?
Exactly.
That would normally be how Canon works, isn't it? To produce a flagship camera and lenses ready for the Olympics. And obviously the Olympics are supposed to be last year, but they're potentially going to go ahead this year, aren't they? But there won't be anybody there. So you need better lenses to make sure that we can all see what's going on.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that's just those particular lenses are just going to be added into the RF range. Really, I think for more support there. I think you're going to get the same output with the adapter with the original lenses. If you're somebody that uses the original lenses as well. I believe they are the same sort of lenses. So yes, indeed. So yes, quite a lot there to look forward to when it comes in and plays.
It's cool to see innovation happening continually in our industry. Nothing ever stands still, which I think keeps you interested if you're into gear, but also helps you if you're very much into the creative side of photography. And I think that's quite important, isn't it? Are you thinking about the seagulls and how loud they are?
Yeah, they're very loud.
I can hear them. They're on a party out there. I think it's cool, and to see things like the eye control and the spherical something, whatever it's called, aberration control, SAC control. There we go. It's cool, and I think it'll be interesting to see how people use that to their advantage. So hopefully they won't be gimmicks. Hopefully they will genuinely be useful to the photographers who use the features. So, yeah, and I'm looking forward to playing with the DJI Air 2S.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those toys, isn't it? And just having that like added benefit of like the quality increasing and stuff like that from what we've been playing with recently, and also the options,
and the price
as well,
point being lower as well.
Yeah.
You had to spend a lot more to get the Mavic Pro 2 with the Hasselblad 1-inch. So
yeah, so it is affordable, isn't it? At that point. So I'm not too sure what the Flymore kit is, because they always work out very good value, but obviously they are more money. So we'll obviously all of these things will be on our website eventually at some point.
Just very busy
when we have time. Yeah. So which you would know if you come into the shop. So because it has been quite busy in a safe way, of course.
Yeah.
Let's go to some of the comments.
Yeah. Andrew says, been out on the Wales coast path for the 7300 today. Ran out of time for a drop-in, but hopefully soon. It was good that you're getting out and about with a new lens. What are your thoughts on the new lens, Andrew? Let us know in the comments. Andrew also said, Joel on the left, there's been a glitch in the Matrix.
It certainly has.
Yeah. Here's the comment that David made about the eye control or 1993. Yeah. And Tina, I've just had a double check just to remind me, 879, and they're available for pre-order. So contact Sarah and she'll put them on the list for you if you want one. That is, of course. So yeah. I think I'm going to rest well over the weekend after this very busy week. I can't believe it's Friday already. Yeah,
it's been a long week, Joel. It's been a long week, but hopefully there's a bit of sunshine this weekend as well, so we'll be able to enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully I get to see my nieces and my sister and brother-in-law this weekend, which will be cool. So yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent. Joel, any final thoughts before we break up for the weekend? Ask you every week, mate.
Well, enjoy the fact that you can cross the borders if you're in England or Wales and vice versa.
Yeah.
Obviously, stay safe. But yeah, I think it's good. It feels like obviously we have to be careful, but it's nice to see that we're hopefully going in the right direction. So, and feel free to pop into the shop. If you don't want to queue, give us a call and or a Facebook message or an email. We'll put you in the calendar. But if you just want to pop by, just because, that's fine as well. That's not a problem. Just might have to wait in the queues of passport photographs being taken. So, yeah,
that's brilliant. Well, thank you very much this week, Joel. Again, it's a pleasure seeing you on this screen and in the shop for the whole week that we see each other.
You say that like it's not normal, but we've probably not gone more than a few days with not seeing each other. Along with Sarah, it's like every few days for 4 days. I think it's the longest, probably, apart from maybe Christmas.
Yeah, quite possibly, indeed. Right, fantastic. I think that's everything for this week. If you haven't done already, please make sure you share these videos. The more that you share, the more it helps us spread the word about what we're doing here at Cambrian Photography and also on these episodes, Photography Out Loud as well. Go on to our Facebook and YouTube channel, hit subscribe, like, all of those lovely things.
Likey.
Yeah, likey, subscribey, all of those lovely things. Please come into the shop if you can, when you feel safe to do so. Or we'll see you again here next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.